Okay, hi there Facebook, let's shut this door. So, hopefully people are joining me. Let's have a look, see if anybody joins me. So hopefully I'm coming out live and I'm going to do this impromptu little training session with Great, talking about outs and how to teach them. So that's where your dog will drop a toy on cue and the various ways in which you can teach it, and some quick little tips for problems that you may encounter. So the reason I've picked that particular skill to teach is, some people are joining me, is because it's one of the foundation skills I would suggest anybody that has a dog that's going to do sports or is struggling with arousal, it's a really good skill to teach because it allows you to do an instantaneous, off you go, check on your dog. Let me just swipe that. Oh, here we go. Just tighten this up, bear with me all. There. It is a great way to assess if your dog is listening to you and to gauge where it's at in terms of its level of arousal. So it's one of my foundation skills that I teach, and it's covered in the OTT No More course, which I'm going to tell you about a little bit later on. So I'm going to first go through some basic things about the out. So my criteria for my dogs to out is on the cue, which is my cue is out, O-U-T. My dogs will let go of that toy and not re-bite the toy, not grab the toy or touch the toy until I give them permission to do so. So how I teach that, I'm going to go through today, or in this live, and you can then, obviously you can ask questions about it. There's a couple of different methods I'm going to show you, which may be appropriate for your dog, okay? So I've got a toy with me. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my dog on. So obviously Grate's with me here. She's anticipating we're going to do some training. You've got your coat. But she's somewhat more in pet, what I would qualify as pet mode, where she's just milling around being as she normally is, quite wanting to me fuss her and touch her. She's not what I would call switched on to work. Now if I said to her, ready, steady, good, good, you can see her demeanour instantaneously change. Win, yeah, and I can click her and reward her. Again, a foundation skill to teach is your dog to understand, to switch on when you want them to, and most importantly to switch off. So I'm going to just demonstrate really quickly, hopefully her release. Out, get it, good, so she understands to let go of it. Out, get it, yeah, good, okay, and we bite it when I want, okay, out, get it, whoosh, good, okay, so you can see how strongly Great understands that. Now I'm going to go through the process of how I would teach that. Okay, good girl. So, good girl, thank you, give it to me. So we pop you, so another foundation skill that's worth teaching, good girl, is your dog to go to a station. So a couple of little things within this session where I can pop Great on here, good girl. She can hang out there whilst I'm talking to you guys. Good girl. Yes, good girl, well done. Right there, good. So, good girl. So another layer that you should teach for dogs that go over aroused is the ability to hold a station or remain in situ whilst you do other things. So whether that be, for example, talking to you guys, or me training another dog, or setting up equipment, or moving around, it gives her clarity of understanding to remain in situ. That's a shaped behaviour again, another foundation skill. That's really, really important for dogs that get over aroused. So again, it allows me to regain control, get the dog to be more calm and thoughtful and still, which is a huge skill that they will need to develop, whilst I do something else, okay? So, first thing to consider is how I'm going to teach my out. So the simplest way, most people have actually inadvertently taught their dog a very distinct cue to release the toy without even being aware of it. And that cue for most dogs is this, okay? If I put my hand in my pocket, that normally means that I'm going to feed my dogs. That's what most people's dogs would have learnt without them even intentionally training it. So I'm going to use that as my cue to teach my dog to release the toy on cue by using the dog's ability to anticipate. All right, so, okay, good. So release Will off the perch. Good girl, great, come here. Okay, come on, good girl. Right, let's move this out of the way. Get a little space, ready, hey. Get that toy, good. So I'm going to play with that. Wind up a bit. Now I'm going to put my hand in the pocket. Now she may not recognise this. It's been a while since we've done this, but that's not a problem. I'm going to help her. So, good, good. Yes. Feeder. Good. So put my hand in my pocket here. Good. Oh, get it. Good girl. Stopping mechanics. Good girl. Good. So I keep the toy in show. That's really important. And I wait for her to keep looking what I'm looking for, if I show you towards here, is her to focus on my hand going in the pocket. All right? Ready? When I present the toy, get it, and then invite it to grab. And we're going to go again. So I tug. I'm tugging her with my left hand, and my right hand's going to go in the pocket. So if I do this, good. She goes, oh, I've got my pocket. So you can see her letting go of the toy when my hand goes in that pocket. All right? So now that I've got that, and most dogs are going to do that relatively quickly because I suspect most of us have trained that, put my hand in the pocket. Alternatively, you can even use a bowl and go to the bowl and touch the bowl as a cue to teach your dog to release. Or you could go to a cupboard where you have treats. Again, same principle. The dog is anticipating. We're using classical conditioning where the dog is anticipating being fed. And we're going to use this trigger or this cue to teach our dog to respond to an out or a verbal cue. Ready? Get out! So, now I'm going to introduce my word. Now I'm going to change it for Grey because obviously as you've seen she already responds to her cue, her trained cue. I'm going to change her word. So I'm going to say, and the sequence should be say the word, momentarily pause, and then deliver the food. So it'll be give. Irrespective of what she does, I feed her. Now, if she was a big, powerful dog, I would wedge my hand up against my leg. That's really, really important, so that I can restrict her being able to pull back. If she was really, really powerful, I might even let go of the toy. So I'll show you that version. Really, get it! Good. Tucks. Okay. So I'm going to say to her, wah! Like that. So my hand doesn't go anywhere in my pocket. Give. Good. Good. Well done. Good. Well done. Good. Get it. Throw the food away, and then I can pick. Get. Wah! Invite her to grab the toy. Okay. Once the dog has got that, alright. Get it. Good. Get. Okay. I can start to wait for a response from her. Ready? Give. Good. So she started to let go, and then I move my hand towards my pocket. Get it! Good girl. Hello. Ready. Just move my treats into my other side, so just move out my way a little bit. So again, so I'm going to say give. Good. Nice. Good. Good. Good girl. Nice. We'll do another one. Wow, missed it. Ready. Good. Ready. Give. Good. Nice. You can see her there stop pulling and release the toy. So I keep the toy passive so it's still, and I'm rewarding her with food, and then I'm going to activate or move the toy. Get it! Get it! Get it! Push. Good. Good girl. Go again. Good girlie. One more. Give. Hand goes in pocket. Good. Wait for that response. Good. Get it. Good. Ready. Give. Yep. Good. Now I'm going to click her because she made that choice. Good. So release the toy. Good girl. Ready. Give. Ooh. Yep. Good. Nice. So another layer there is the difference between a food marker word and a toy marker word. So several little games that I'm playing within one session. Sending my dog to a station, teaching them out, and reward specific markers, which is going to help your dogs that have issues with over-arousal. Ready? Win! Ha-ha! Good girl. That's her toy marker. Ready? So I'm going to do her cue again. Give. Yep. Good. And I'm going to go to my pocket afterwards. Now, obviously, I want to untrain the dog seeing that visual picture. That's really easy to do. Get it? Good girl. I'm going to just do some fake out from her. So I'm going to keep the toy moving. Hand goes in my pocket. Keep the toy moving. Hand goes in my pocket. Keep the toy moving. Whoa, you missed it. Whoa, get it? Yeah. Good job. Good job. Good. Good. So I'm going to try again. Give. Wait for it to make a decision. Yep. Good. So at this stage, is because obviously she's learning this new cue, I'm going to accept that her release isn't going to be as clean, and that's going to come with time and repetition. What I'm doing is I'm allowing the dog to make a choice to release that toy. Ready? Good. Do it again. So if I did her old cue, she should Release it really clean. Out. Yep. Good. You can see how clean that is and the difference between that and the cue that I'm using for the purpose of this demonstration. Really good. One more. I'm going to do the new cue. For the purpose of demonstration. Give. Yep. Good. Nice. Good girl. Good. Okay, that'll do. Well done. Ending my session, so she can now do what she likes and she's now off duty. She can take the toy if she wants, I'm not overly fussed. Yeah, but you can see her demeanour very much change and she goes a lot softer and more relaxed in her being, okay? So, just to recap some lessons there within the lessons. First thing, obviously, is to look at the mechanics of how I teach an out, having my food in my pocket and using that visual trigger as the training aid or the prompt to get the dog to release the toy. Then progressing to putting a verbal cue just before I make that gesture. So let's say the cue, momentary pause, then move my hand. Once I can see the dog responding to that gesture, I can click the dog for that. And in her case, or what I would advise is I'm going to say to her to take food. I'm going to use her marker word that says to her take treats, which then clarifies to the dog that I don't want her to grab at the toy. A classic way that a lot of people teach dogs to release toys is, right, to rebite the toy. So that's where the dog releases the toy, they wait, so they lock up their hands against their elbows, excuse me, sorry, they lock their elbows against their body, they wait the dog out, the dog releases, as soon as it releases, it bites. Good way of teaching it out, however, the flip side is that the dog, being master of anticipation, they tend to preempt the rebite and then they start to weaken their out gets weaker and weaker and weaker. So what you get is the dog lingering around the toy. I want the dog to understand that they have done a nice clean out and that I want to reinforce them with food, or I can use my marker word for throwing the toy. So I'm going to switch straight back on and I'm going to show you those variations. So if I say to her, ready, steady, good. Win! Yeah! Good. She comes back in front of me. Good. Ready? She thought we were all done. Ready? Good. Okay. Ready? So I'm going to see if I can lock up my elbows and do that version. If I do that, I wait. She'll good. Get it! Good. Now see how she released her grip there? I'll do it side on. Ready? Ready? So. Get it? Good. Nice. And I move to release the dog. Okay? Ready? Ready? Win. Good. Nice. Okay? So that's another version to teach them out. As I said, that the flip side of that approach is that it can cause the dog to linger around the toy. And the other option is that if I go still, it could be teaching my dog to stop tugging, which is not what I want my dogs to learn. So when I do this, my dog is being taught to release the toy, and I don't want that, okay? Good. I want them to tug, continue until I ask them to let go. All right? So, out. Good. Chase. Good girl. Good. Changing how I reinforce. Out. Chase. Woo. Good girl. Yeah. One more. Come on. Out. Chase. Whee. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl. Out. Ready. Strike. Yes. Good girl. Ready. Out. Chase. Good. Beat up. Good girl. Clicker and feeder. Out. Yep. Very good. So you can see there really clearly, great not anticipating or grabbing at the toy because she understands that I haven't clicked her and the toy is not the reinforcement she's getting. If I say to her, win, yeah, and she gets back to it. Ready, out, win, yes, good girl. Ready, out, chase, yeah, out, ready, ready. Strike! Yeah, good girl. Whoa, you missed it. Good girl. Okay, that'll do. Well done. Good girl. And switching her off again, just giving her that clarity. So she's now off duty. She can do what she likes. All right. So just a couple of ideas there for how to teach an out of a toy, whether it be using your hand in your pocket and classical conditioning effectively, or waiting the dog out by locking their elbows, again another alternative. 2 methods to teach your dog an out. So problem solving, what will normally happen as your dog gets more desire for the toy, your dog will absolutely lose their out or their release. That's perfectly normal. Now often another place where dogs can lose their releasing of the toy is when they get really excited. So you want to be thinking about taking them to environments where they might have little challenges and working through this initial foundation steps as they learn. In training, what you also want to do is crank up your play so that the dog gets a bit more excited. So you're proofing them, no matter how excited they are, they've still got to release their toy on cue. When they do that, go back to your preliminary stages, your foundation stages of hand in the pocket. Use really, really high value reinforcement, or your throwing of the toy as an alternative, and making sure you're differentiating between biting the toy, chasing the toy, and feeding the toy for the release, all those different variations. And that's a great way to create clarity for your dog and to help them regulate their level of arousal when they're getting too high. Often, as I said, when dogs get really aroused or over-aroused, they will start to, their release of a toy will start to waver. And it's a good indication of where the dog is mentally and emotionally. Is the dog comfortable in the environment? Is the dog getting over-aroused? Is the dog being able to listen to you? If the dog isn't doing that skill, it's a great indicator of what's to come, and you can then be proactive in it. The other thing about teaching it out is make sure that you teach it really, really thoroughly and solidly when your dog is in lower drive. So start it off in your living room or your kitchen with perhaps where the place where you do your prep your dog's meal, so that you can go to the cupboard and get your bowl out so the dog learns that picture. Put your verbal cue on and then progress it. Obviously the progression would be if you used the cupboard where you fed your dog, because I would go, for example, in my living room, play with my dog, say out, go to the kitchen, get my dog bowl out, feed the dog, and then I can graduate to different parts of my house, so that my dog is hearing that cue and anticipating their food coming, until eventually I can do it outside and run back in the house until I can fade that out of the picture altogether. All right? So just some ideas of an out. One of the most critical skills that you can teach for dogs that get really aroused and are toy motivated, to check if they're listening to you. So for those of you that are interested in finding more about information similar to this, you can join the OTT No More online course, which is going to be open for 12 months, running all for the next 12 months from as of the 14th officially we open or we start, 14th of February 2022 till the 14th of February 2023, or the 13th of February 2023, and you will have access to video content, lives with me and special guests, and also have the opportunity to get feedback about your dog. Now, there is only 20 handler places available. Some of those are already being taken by people that attended the webinar that I did last week on over-arousal, and those people had first refusal on the handler places. Now it's going to be opened up to more people if they want to sign up as a handler. There's unlimited auditor spaces, so if you want to audit on that course, by all means sign up. So I'm going to be sharing that information on Facebook today, and also emailing out to people on my mailing list. So if you're interested, sign up. I'm going to be opening the course up for sign-ups all this week, and as I say, we will start the course officially next Monday, where I'll be sharing videos and content about steps that you need to overcome your dog's issues of arousal. It is generally focused on sports, okay? However, if your dog has an arousal issue away from sport, it's going to be super beneficial, because all the layers are all the same, all the training is all the same, all the stages that I go through to prevent dogs getting over-aroused, or dealing with dogs that are over-aroused or could be over-aroused, all the above, is covered in the course, okay? So shaping, working through frustration, working on pre-macking the things that your dog wants most, dealing with arousal, watching for what you're reinforcing, being aware of your own training, something that's going to be definitely apparent to the people that handle, and giving them feedback about their dogs, and lots of other information from other people in the world of dog training that can bring something to the table. All right, so hopefully this has been interesting for you. Just a very brief live on teaching outs stations, and also reward specific markers. So 3 key things that are going to really help your dog overcome over-arousal issues. Okay, just want to see if there's any questions before I draw things to a close. Okay, not sure if there's any questions. Watching from work. Excellent. Okay, let's have a look. If there's any questions. Good girlie. Good. Okay. I don't think there's any more questions. Hopefully that's been helpful for you guys that have got dogs that have got over-arousal issues. So there's going to be plenty more information like this all this week. I'll do another live probably tomorrow, I would have thought, and then Friday. Yeah, check it out. So the webinar isn't available as a standalone at the moment. It is part of the course. So if you sign up for the course, you'll get access to the webinar as part of that, as part of your payment. So if you, and obviously there'll be other bonus videos that have already been shared with people that attended the webinar, and there's plenty more to come. So if you're interested, I'm going to post the information on Facebook shortly. Check it out. If you're on my mailing list, you'll get an email. All right? All right, all. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go off and walk my dogs, and I've got a lesson shortly. So I'll love you and leave you. And yeah, enjoy your dogs. See you later.